Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 119 of Did You Bring the Hummus podcast. I'm Kimberly, your host, and I'm super excited to be here with you today. Did You Bring the Hummus is a podcast for all things vegan. Episodes post every Monday on your favorite podcast app. Before we get started, I have one very important question for you. Did you bring the hummus? Visit my website to learn more about how to support the podcast, sign up for a meditation session, and everything else I'm up to. I've joined forces with Jennifer Shlomovich of The Confident Vegan to bring you the next great thing in morning TV, That Vegan Morning Show, which airs on YouTube every Monday at 7 a.m. Eastern. Join our mailing list and get a free recipe ebook of some of our favorites. Today, I am joined by Ellen Canner, the author of the award-winning book, Feeding the Hungry Ghost, Life, Faith, and What to Eat for Dinner, and her newest book, Miami Vegan. She writes about the intersection of food, culture, community, wellness, and sustainability for outlets including HuffPo, Veg News, and Edible South Florida, which calls her the lovable and entertaining voice of plant-based. She's a vegan advocate and culinary instructor, recipe developer for major brands, and the creator of the Substack newsletter, Broccoli Rising. A fifth-generation Miami native, she lives with her husband in, where else? Miami. Ellen and I have a fun conversation about aphrodisiac foods, compassion, celebrating your local culture, delicious food, and hummus, of course. Oh, and hear me learn that a pimento is a pepper, not an olive. Duh. In my defense, I'd only seen them ever stuffed into olives. I learned something new, so I'm all right with that. Hi, Ellen. Welcome. I'm so excited you're here with me tonight.
I'm excited too.
Good stuff. Ellen, share with me your vegan journey.
Okay. It started when I was a tween and I made the connection between what my family ate and all the animals I loved. And so I announced that I was giving up meat. This is a great thing to do if you're a tween and you want to yank your parents' chain a little bit.
Yeah.
So it was a multiple win. And I never went back. I'm still the only vegan in my family, but it was very important for me to do. And as I grew up and became a food writer, the more I learned about the food system, the less I was able to stomach, in any sense of the word, how food is, the dairy and other things are being processed. So that was what kicked me over the vegan goalpost, so to speak.
I totally get that. When I first went vegetarian, that happened very quickly. It was overnight. It was inspired, in fact, by the story of a downed cow from an issue of PETA's Animal Times that I had received. And despite that being the story that made me go, all right, I'm vegetarian now, it didn't make me vegan. It was incredible how even back in 2001, the stories that we knew about weren't as clear with dairy. I think there was still a lot. It was easier to shy away from it too, I think, because we didn't have the internet presence we have today. And so I didn't have what was clearly happening in dairy in my face the way it is now.
And that was how the food system wanted it and still wants it. Like, look at the pretty cows. We won't really talk about what's going on behind the curtain.
Mm-hmm, exactly. Yeah. And you really have to do your own research and dig into it. And then
good for you for doing it. How did you find your way? Because I went vegan before all this information was out there, and it took some stumbling and going down some not right roads.
Yeah. I was when I look back now, I can see kind of the seeds that were being planted. When I was 10, I saw an ad about a calf in a box. And so I never ate veal my whole life. I've never had veal, but still didn't make the full connection to the other animals who I was eating, including that calf's mom. I hadn't made that connection. And And so like seeds start to get planted. I learn about animal testing in high school. I stopped using all products that have been tested on animals. And then when I was 20, I got an issue of PETA's Animal Times in the mail addressed to me. I do not remember filling something out to request it, or I didn't send PETA any money. So it came, I guess, through divine intervention. And
Right.
I read it cover to cover, was up physically sick all night,
Oh,
vegetarian from that moment on. And then finally went vegan because, like, the only thing that was keeping me from being able to use the word vegan to describe myself was eating cheese. All of the products I
you and
used.
many, many people. That's the hardest thing
Yeah,
for
right?
people.
It really is. Like, I had changed all my clothes. Like, I didn't have leather shoes anymore, no leather handbags. Like, the whole thing, all the products I used were vegan. It was just this friggin' cheese.
Miyoko Shiner, who is a goddess in her own right,
He is.
said there's like an opioid in naturally in milk and in dairy. So of course you get hooked on it.
Right? That's why it's so important that we understand why people go vegan and what the animals are experiencing, because that, for me anyway, and for a lot of vegans, that's what keeps you there. It could be so easy to just put it out of your head and just eat cheese for so many people. But when you
Mm-hmm.
remember who that cheese is coming from and what she's going through, that for me keeps me very solidly vegan, because it just like, there's just nothing, there's no food that would ever be good enough now that I know what I know to be part of
Right.
that system anymore in that way.
And I'm based in Miami. I am also very, very concerned about climate change. And, we're staring in the face every day. I used to say it was just Miami, but we know it is everywhere
Yep.
now. And there is a huge connection between what's at the end of your fork and this crazy weather we're experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
another thing that people are kind of fuzzy about, but
Mm-hmm.
believe me, the information is there.
It is. Yeah. And it's right in front of us every day. Just yesterday here in New Jersey, there was a huge storm that came through, and we had flooding to the point it was taking cars away, like on major highways that don't get that level of flooding, and through towns that are at risk of flooding, but not to this level where buildings are being, filled up to the first floor. And it was baffling to see that. And it's because of how we're treating the planet, how we treat the animals, and what that puts into the environment. And this is like, we don't have to be doing this.
Right. You can eat great food, feel good, treat the animals right, do something good for your planet all in one go. I say
Yeah.
vegan is the greatest multitasker there is.
You are so right. And I love that you mentioned that you're in Miami, which I love, because I've gotten in a little scoop on your new book, Miami Vegan. And I was looking through it again earlier today before we connected. And what a vibrant, I've been to Miami just once in my early 20s, and I didn't have a chance to really appreciate all that Miami had to offer, but I had a great time while I was there. And just flipping
Oh,
through
good,
your
because we
book.
like to treat you right.
Yeah. And your book just reminded me of this feeling of warmth and just vibrancy, and this like fun and playfulness. And it just, the pictures are gorgeous. And I was just like, I cannot wait to make some of the recipes in this book. And my favorite thing too is that your cookbook is readable. And what I mean by that is that there's stories in it, and it's not just like, there's some cookbooks where every story is like a little bit of the cookbook author, which is great because you want to get to know the person who's teaching you how to cook these amazing things. But the book is so much about Miami and who is there and what Miami, how all these different people come together, and we're enjoying this food from that's inspired from so many different countries, and you're getting like the history and a little look into these different cultures. So like it's readable, you're learning, and you get to cook incredible food that everyone's going to love. And just like, I feel like, Ellen, you have really hit the jackpot here, or we have hit the jackpot by reading this book.
Oh, well, thank you. I think that way of doing, I call that the Trojan horse method of recipe writing. I was Huffington Post Meatless Monday blogger for many years. And of course, you only have like a little squib of space, virtual space. But I always like to frame it like, here's something that's going on in the world. Here's what you can do about it. And here's something really great to eat.
Nice.
We're training our puppy right now, and like treats are really important. There's got to be some payoff.
Absolutely. Yeah, is the book out yet?
The book is out, and it's out online and everywhere, and your local indie. And if it's not, ask for it, and we will make sure you get a copy.
That's amazing. And really, like, run, do not walk, and get this book.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. One of the things that I learned about you is that that you have kind of a pet peeve where people who are trying to hide vegetables in the food that they're making really like kind of rubs you the wrong way, because vegetables should be one of the stars, right? Tell me about that.
I don't know if you remember, this was probably about 10 years ago. A couple of cookbooks came out. It was like stealth vegetables, or how you can hide food from your family. I'm thinking, no, vegetables deserve dignity. They deserve pride of place.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're not sneaking, you're enhancing. When you add vegetables to food, you just make everything better.
That is so true. The colors alone, right? When you add vegetables to any dish, it's a feast for the eyes. And
right. I have a friend who is an excellent food photographer. He is very not vegan, but even he says, if I'm having to photograph a steak, I have to put something green in there. Otherwise, it's not fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. If you think about people who are eating animal products and kind of the standard vegetables, potatoes and things like that, which potatoes are amazing and I love them and I would eat them every day. But they're very bland in what they look like color-wise on their own, unless you get purple ones. But even then, if you boil them, the purple kind of comes out of them a little bit. But anyway,
right.
when you have a dish that is just animal products, it's so boring and brown. Ugh.
Right. And vegetables and fruits have like big, bold, sexy colors and shapes. Don't you want that?
Yeah.
I do.
I think even people who think they don't like vegetables, when they see like a beautiful plate or bowl, like they want it, but then they've told us, I don't think I like vegetables, and they feel like, oh, I can't. But you can't resist it. I think you can't resist it. You are setting me up so well here, Ellen, because you use the word sexy talking about vegetables, and something that I think people maybe might want to know some more about is how plants can be like a natural aphrodisiac.
Well, spices naturally are. I mean, they're used in Chinese medicine to improve circulation and do all kinds of wonderful things for you. Some great ones from history, nutmeg, like you grate on your latte, was considered like such an aphrodisiac that it was banned for a while.
Oh.
And even in the Caribbean, where we grow a lot of it, they say, too much makes you a little nuts in a good way. If some guys love struck, it's the nutmeg man. I don't know if that's true, but I certainly love using nutmeg. I think it adds a great flavor.
Mm-hmm.
And one of our earliest Roman herbalists, Pliny the Elder, said, before there was Viagra Man, there was arugula. He said the green excites people.
Mm-hmm.
So I love to give that example to get people to eat their greens.
Yeah. Yeah. I never thought about that. The spiciness of the arugula is probably like raising things a little bit, warming things up.
Right.
Yeah.
And almonds have been an age-old symbol of fertility. Oh, and avocados, particularly like Mexican avocados. Those are the guacamole ones that get all the love. It used to be that the Inca and the Aztec would keep their virgins inside when it was being harvested because they said it excited women too much.
Oh, I mean,
So think of that next time you have your avo toast.
yeah. I'm just thinking about even being in the grocery store and finding an avocado that's ready for me to use that night. Like that sends me off in a whole other direction.
And in Miami right now, it is mango season. And I think there isn't a sexier, juicier example of fruit on the planet.
Yeah, you are so right about that. And I saw that you, in your cookbook, there are two, so you can eat an unripe mango, which I didn't know, when it's still green. And then you have a couple of recipes that include mangoes, which like I am so excited about the black bean mango, the firework black bean mango, right?
That is such a great summer salad.
Yeah.
It has no dressing. It just has mango juice and lime juice in it, and it's so vibrant.
Mm.
And you get the protein from the black beans. You get kind of a sweet spark from the mango. There's a little chili in there, so that's the fireworks too.
Mm-hmm.
It's a real winner. I love that salad. I'm so glad you do too.
Yeah. Fantastic. Are there any other like vegetables or spices that we should add to the list of let's get it on?
Oh boy. Let me think. Well, there's a reason we all love chocolate.
Mm.
It's got a chemical compound in it called theobromine, literally food of the gods.
Oh.
And I'm trying to remember who it was. Maybe Montezuma used to have like cups of it every day just to keep his virility going. Or at least it was a good excuse, right?
Right. Whatever we need to like get that chocolate in every day.
Right.
Chocolate too, like the texture of it. I think,
Oh yeah, the meltingness.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very sexy.
Yes. And like so my listeners are a mix of vegan and non-vegans, and I just want the non-vegans to know that vegan chocolate is just as creamy and sexy and melty and just delicious. I would say more so in fact than the dairy-based ones.
I think so too. And the darker the chocolate, the more intense the experience. So, honey, get all the goodness and the deepness and richness that you can.
Yeah. So when next time we're at the store, it's black beans, mangoes, chocolate, some chilies, almonds,
nutmeg. Oh, you're going to have a great time.
That sounds good to me. So your cookbook, obviously, and we're kind of bouncing all over the place. I hope you don't mind.
And I tend to do. It's not you, it's me.
Fantastic. Well, it's me too. So we're a good match. Your cookbook is obviously so inspired by where you live, by Miami and all that it is, as we were talking about before, the mix of cultures, the environment that you're in. But what made you go, there needs to be a cookbook about Miami?
My mother was a historian and, a sort of straight normal historian. But I've always been intrigued about how food tells us so much about a people and so much about a place.
Mm-hmm.
And Miami is such a great example of that because we are such a mix of cultures and communities. I call my book Miami Vegan, but Miami isn't just one thing. It is many, many flavors. It's Latin and many flavors of Latin too, Cuban, Nicaraguan, Venezuelan, Colombian, Brazil, many flavors of Caribbean. There's Jamaican, there's Bahamian. I'm forgetting some and I'm terribly sorry. But yeah, all that we look, diversity isn't a bad word. All that comes together in our community and it comes together on our plates. We influence each other in very delicious ways.
I love that. Yeah. That's something that I noticed about you when I was kind of reading up on what you've done before. And I noticed that intersectionality is an important piece of you and what you talk about. I believe your last book mentioned talked about that a little bit. Am I getting that right?
You are absolutely getting that right. I don't know if
Awesome.
that is a superpower or a quirk of mine, but yeah, I often see through lines like it's not just this or that. It's both,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to be able to draw a line between them, link them.
Yeah. I I think I think it's always been very important. But like right now, what we're seeing in the vegan movement, just to make it small, is that there are animal rights um, activists who are very much in a camp of F the humans. We only care about the animals, and that's all we're going to focus on, not wasting time worrying about what's happening over here with the people. And then there's people, vegan and animal rights activists like myself, and like I imagine you, where we are going, no, no, it's not just that. Yes, veganism is focused on not exploiting animals, that's within the definition of it. But there's so much of people, so many people are hurt within the animal agriculture
Oh,
industry.
sure.
Yeah, and then just the way that we even interact with each other on a daily basis, and the way we're so separated, and we're suffering in so many ways as people around the world in this country, that by ignoring everything else that's happening, we're doing a disservice to the animals, if you ask me. I feel like we're never going to, so I feel like it kind of comes together. I think we treat each other the way we do because we treat animals the way we do. And then I think because we continue to treat people like we do, we will never stop mistreating animals. And so I feel like we've got to work on them both.
I agree. And I also think, we don't have time to have like this camp and that little tribe. We're all in this together. I think this is so important. I think that's a great point, Kimberly.
Thank you. Yeah, it's the last thing we need is more division. And within the
Right.
vegan community, we're so small as it is. So, like, if we can kind of expand out, and I know that I've heard from some people who are very staunchly like, no, animals only. They're like, well, nobody from, this human rights movement is coming over and being like, I'll stand with you and fight for veganism or fight for the animals. But like that's not true, because there are people in all of the different movements that are also vegan. But so what? What if we show up? What if we just are there for everybody? And I know we all have limited time. So yeah, if we're talking about, well, I can't go protest here, here, and here because I don't have that much time in my day. Okay, I get that. So you have to pick one. But you can learn about everything that's going on. You can learn about how things are connected. You can have conversations with people to start to help them see how it's all connected. And it doesn't need to be this like very divisive, separate thing. I don't know.
I know. I think sometimes we forget one of the great tenets of being vegan is compassion.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to be compassionate towards an innocent animal. Sometimes it's harder to be compassionate towards people.
That is true.
But that, that's a great muscle to try and work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is a lesson, I think, for a lot of us that yeah, it is very easy for many of us to see an animal suffering. And I mean, we see it all the time, right? There are people who eat animals multiple times a day who are just like bowled over by the idea that someone would hurt a dog or a cat or even a horse. Like people don't think about the fact that horses also are sent to slaughter and things like that, and they find that out and they're like, oh my god, what are you talking about? And they can't wrap their head around it because it seems so awful. But because we've been kind of conditioned that there are animals that you eat and you don't think about how they get from being who they are to being on your plate, it's like, it's in there because they get upset about these other animals being hurt, and you just have to like unlock it or something.
That's where it really helps, I think, to reach out to other people. We all get so siloed in our lives,
Mhm.
or running in the same little lane. That's why so much of being a writer is being by yourself. And I find that I have to get out sometimes and be with other people. I'm
Mhm.
an introvert, and I'm telling you this.
So that means something. It's important for
Yes.
everyone. Yeah. We do need more connection. And I think food, right? Kind of going back to something that you are very passionate about. Food brings us together, and I love that you are taking these recipes inspired by all of the different cultures in Miami, and you're creating food that everyone can eat, being inclusive, where it doesn't matter whether you're vegan or not. This food that's in your new book is for everybody.
Oh, thank you. That was important to me. Some of these recipes are vegan versions of very traditional Caribbean or Latin American dishes. And they're not just, they are more than dinner. They are the food people serve for family get togethers. They're what they serve at Christmas. So at first, the idea of having something different. Okay, this doesn't have meat in it. This is arroz con pollo, chicken and rice, but it doesn't have chicken. That is weird. That is challenging. But someone will say, that's not how my grandmother made it. And she's right. And the way she makes it may not be the way her grandmother made it. Language and cuisine is always moving forward. And so, yeah, when I created these dishes, I really tried to nail the soul and the spice of what it is without hurting anybody.
Yeah.
So I hope your grandmother will try this dish. And, if she doesn't like it, I'd like to hear from her.
Excellent. Remember that there'll be ways to contact Ellen in the show notes if your grandmother has comments.
But, my father was very, very far from vegan. And I remember when he had his third helping of pumpkin pie one Thanksgiving, he said, "This is really good." And it was only then I told him that it was made with silken tofu, and his face fell. And I said, "Dad, you've just had 3 servings of it." It's mindset.
Yeah.
I think it's very hard. Look, eating is one of the most intimate acts we perform. We're literally taking something into ourselves. So I understand it being strange at first for people to make a different food choice. But if you can do it and make it delicious, why not?
Yeah. Yeah. I remember a guy I dated years and years and years ago, took him to a vegan restaurant for the first time. And I can still see in my head, he ordered the vegan chicken parm, and he cuts himself a little slice, and I can still see the fork coming up to his mouth, and he just kind of like, like
Oh.
bites it a little bit, and then he's chewing thoughtfully, and then his face kind of changes, and then he takes another bite, and he's a little less nervous about that bite. And he chews, and I'm just watching him thinking as he's chewing. And he finally stops and he looks at me and he goes, I think if all vegan food tasted like this, I could be vegan. And I
Great.
was like, well, news for you. You can, and it does.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't
And
go vegan for very long, but
hey, he tried. I
he
think that
did.
counts for a lot.
Yeah.
I recently saw a study that vegans, like newbie vegans, they start out great guns, and quite a number of them aren't able to commit to it. And I think it's because they need more support. I think we all need support.
Yeah.
But as you were saying, you need to find really solid information out there. And I think you do need a support system, whether it's your family, whether it's an online community, whether it's me, because I would be so happy to help anybody.
Yeah.
And you too, I know. So yeah, it can be a challenge to change your eating habits, especially if you have a family who pushes back.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why they would, but I guess sometimes people find it threatening
Yeah.
that you're rejecting what has always been the way we've always done things.
Mm-hmm.
But it's good to do things a little differently.
It
I'm a big
is.
believer in the rule of one, that if you make one positive change, you're only leading to more.
Mm.
And encourage people, be kind to yourself too, because any change is a big change.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that I was very lucky in that when I woke up that next morning after being sick all night, decided to go vegetarian, and I still lived at home with my parents. When I came downstairs that next morning and I said, "Okay, I'm going vegetarian now because I read this magazine and I can't eat that anymore." Um, my parents were like, "Okay, that's fine, but you don't eat vegetables, so you're gonna have to learn to like vegetables." But they were not offended. They were not like, what does this mean for Christmas or anything? They had their doubts because, again, I didn't eat vegetables. I also didn't know how to cook. So they were like, this is kind of a big learning curve for you. Like, what are you going to do? I'm sorry, my camera keeps moving. But I did it.
What did you do? Because yeah, I mean, I was very young when I decided to do this, and my mother also said, okay, that's cool, but you're gonna have to learn to cook.
Yeah. So I did. I ate a lot of pasta covered in cheese at first. And even that was dicey because I would overcook pasta like so easily.
Oh,
I was a terrible, terrible cook. So much better now. I'm
but
actually
it's
not
not
afraid.
you. Americans, we need to do better with the pasta situation.
Yeah.
There's a reason the Italians eat it al dente. It's supposed to yield to your tooth. It should not, it's al dente, not al game.
Yeah. Oh, so often just a big pile of mush underneath some very terrible tomato sauce. But
And you stayed with it. Good on you.
I did. I did because it was the most important thing for me to not
Mhm.
be contributing to the animal agriculture system anymore in that way. And I mean, I was still eating cheese. I hadn't, again, made that full connection. But the idea that it was like immediate, where what people call meat, I saw as a dead animal almost immediately. So it wasn't food to me anymore. And so I didn't
Right.
see it. So I had to figure out something to eat. What did you do? Because yeah, you were younger. I was 20, but like you were a tween, you said. How did you
Yes.
navigate it?
I probably ate a lot of pasta at the beginning too. But I kept adding more vegetables. And my mother always said, yeah, whatever you want to do in the kitchen, just clean up afterwards.
Yeah, which is nice, right? That you had that support where, yeah, maybe because my mom was the same way. She wasn't in there, helping me make whatever I was trying to make, but she gave me the space to do it.
I do remember this was a couple years ago. I invited my parents over for dinner. We, would do this every couple weeks. And my mother said, hello, do you want to go over to Ellen and Benjamin's Friday night? She invited us. Oh, what whole grain does she want me to eat now? So yeah, I tried to bring them along with me to at least have an occasional vegan dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And my mother always said, same as yours, like, I could eat this all the time if someone else cooked it.
Yeah. Yeah. And eventually my mom did go vegan. My mom's been vegan now for like 8 years, but
oh, how amazing is that?
Yeah, but over that time, like when I was first still learning, she was kind of not interested because she would eat the terrible food that I made sometimes. But she wasn't like in the kitchen with me, like, oh, what are you making? What are you learning about? And the book that really helped me from like understanding what I needed to eat was that Becoming Vegan by Brenda Davis. Is that her name?
I think that's right. Yes. Yeah. I'm always interested to hear how, people find their way because everyone finds their own path, but I'm so glad.
Yeah, that's why I always ask, because I have that same interest and curiosity. That's why I always ask my guests to share their vegan journey because we end up in this same place, but we all come here through so many different avenues and back and forth and changes and different things that we do. And it's just so fascinating to me.
Me too. I still have like one of my it must have been a vegetarian cookbook because, honey, there were not a lot of vegan cookbooks out there. And I keep it because it's a relic. It's like, who would really want to eat this way? It was still very brown rice and heavy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it would fill you up, but it would not. Look, there are many reasons to go vegan, but I think if you want to stay vegan, you have to eat friggin' delicious food. Yeah. So that's what I really wanted with Miami Vegan, is to give people, it's good for you, it's good for the planet, it's good for the animals, but it also tastes good. It's going to excite your mouth.
Yeah. That's right. One of so I tagged the page of the shortbread. And
okay. I've got to say, people really love that shortbread recipe.
Yeah. Okay. And the chocolate cake with the chocolate orange, like frosting or ganache. Yeah. Can't wait to try.
See, chocolate. It's good for you.
Yes. Makes me happy. And there was. Oh, yeah. And as I was reading through your cookbook, like there's always there's every single cookbook, right? Always has something where you go, nah, I'm never going to make that. And it doesn't matter how many other recipes, or at least for me, that's how it works for me. I shouldn't generalize.
Okay, but what is it about that recipe that makes you say, nah, I don't think so?
Because there'll either be an ingredient that I have told myself I don't like, or it's like a flavor that I'm not interested in. And what made me very curious going through your book is that it was the fish dip, smoked fish dip.
The smoked sea dip.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a Miami classic. And, it's on like every bar menu. If you go out by the water, this is like what a lot of people like. And I'm thinking, okay, this is an iconic recipe. How do I do this? How do I make smoked fish dip without the fish? And it's actually not that hard. It's like 5 ingredients. and all my guy friends love it, including my husband, but it is so close to fishy tasting because it has nori flakes in it.
Mm.
The nori is seaweed, so you do have some seafood in there. It just isn't fish. That I can't eat it. It's like too close for me.
Yeah, and
But it's creamy, it's smoky, it's fishy, it's everything smoked fish dip is without the fish.
that was the first one. Well, my first thought was, oh, JP, that's my husband. So it's funny that you said that your husband too loves it. I was like, oh, JP will love this. And then I thought, because my first thought was, I'm not going to eat that, but he will. But then I thought, no, maybe I will try this. There was something about it that made me go, I'm going to try that. And then the other one was the pimento cheese, because I tell myself I don't like olives, and I will not eat olives. Like by the hand, like my mom and my husband they'll just take a scoop of olives, on a spoon and just eat them. And I am so grossed out by that. But this just sounded, so I was like, it sounds easy. And
It is.
I'm gonna try it. So I'm gonna go out of my comfort zone, inspired by you and your new cookbook. And I'm gonna do some things that in the past I would have said no.
I am so honored. And the pimento cheese isn't really olivey. I know some recipes call for olives. This is just sort of pimento, which is sweet red pepper. So fear not.
Okay. That changes it even more, because I did not realize that pimento was just the pepper. I thought it was like the green olive with the pepper in the middle.
No, you can actually get canned or jarred pimento.
You are blowing my mind, Ellen.
See, this is what happens when you invite a food geek on your show.
I love it. Learning so much, feeling so inspired. Gonna try food things I wouldn't try. And that too is, since going vegan, even more than vegetarian, since going vegan, I eat so many different things than I ever did when I ate animals. And people think they're going to be restricted when they stop eating animals, and it is completely the other way.
I agree. And people say, oh, meat less, you're getting less. No, you are getting more. You're getting more flavor, more color on the plate, more money in your wallet. It's so, yeah, you open yourself up to so many more exciting things.
Yeah. That was the other thing I wanted to ask you about. So thank you for mentioning that. How do we eat vegan cheaply?
Okay, now you have yet hit on another thing I am passionate about. I know a lot of people in the who get my book are going to love the shortbread, and I'm so glad. And they'll love the smoked sea dip, and I'm really glad. But if you want to talk what I'm passionate about, rice and beans are my love language. And they are so super affordable. We talk about, staying away from the middle aisles of the grocery store because that's where all the processed food is. Rice and beans and whole grains are pantry friendly. They are the most economical. That and a well-stocked or even like a slightly stocked spice cabinet and fresh produce. That is all you need in life.
Yeah.
And you can feed yourself well.
Yes, that's so true. I know that I struggled with making beans from scratch. Or from dry. So I would buy canned beans all the time, which are a little more expensive than buying them dry and then doing it yourself. But so do you have any suggestions for that? I feel like I've figured it out for the most part, but what about other people who are nervous about making their own beans from dried beans?
Oh, please give it a try. Beans are very forgiving. They are a high source of protein. They are one of the most sustainable foods to grow, and they love you. And I know your listeners are thinking, beans make you fart. There are ways around this. First of all, I love to soak my dried beans overnight. That gets rid of some of the chemical weirdness in there that causes gassiness. Also, a lot of the traditional ways of cooking beans with certain spices, those are carminatives. They don't just make food taste delicious, they are belly soothers like dill and cumin and bay, and all these flavors make beans delicious because you can cook. Beans will take in the flavor of anything you cook with them.
Mm.
And they soothe your belly. They make you happy, and the beans fill you up. It's such a win.
Yeah. Thank you for inspiring people to eat more beans. Yeah, just a simple like rice and bean bowl with some nice veggies and a good sauce. Like, what else do you need?
That's it. There is a wonderful vegan writer named Michael Twitty. He is a historian. He is an ethnologist. He is a world of smart. And when his grandmother was ailing, he said, well, Gran, what do you want to eat? And he was thinking, I'm going to make her something really elaborate. She said, I want rice, beans, and cornbread. He was thinking, that's boring. No, that is comfort food for her.
Yeah.
So think what really pleases you, what soothes you. And, rice and beans and cornbread and vegetables will do that for me. So find out what that is for you too.
I love that. Ellen, this has been so wonderful. We've covered so many different topics, and I feel like people will be inspired to pick up your book and try out some of your recipes. But I've got one more question for you.
All right, I'm braced.
What will it be? How does hummus show up in your life?
Hummus shows up in my life a lot. We were talking about canned beans. This is an excellent, excellent thing. Aquafaba. That is the liquid in a can of chickpeas. So you shouldn't feel bad about getting cans. First of all, being where we are now in hurricane season here, I always have dried beans, but I always get some canned because you never know when the power is going to go out. And the liquid in a can of chickpeas is such a wonderful egg replacer. I use aquafaba in some dessert recipes. In fact, I think there's at least 3 dessert recipes in Miami Vegan that call for it. It whips like nobody's business. And then you still have the chickpeas to make hummus with. Yeah. And for people who like red pepper hummus or pumpkin hummus or beet hummus or chocolate hummus, which was actually a thing at one time and may still be, I'm happy for you, but that is not hummus. Hummus means chickpea. So yeah, make that the star. And while I love, love, love tahini, I find you can kind of back off it in hummus and still like really whip the dickens out of it, and you come up with something fluffier and lighter. And it lets the chickpeas sing. They really do like to sing. Aren't you sorry you asked?
Yeah, I'm like, whoa, aquafaba in my hummus. Okay. It also reminded me of when I first started trying to make hummus. It didn't go well for like the first 20 batches. The very first time I made it, I used an Isa Chandra Moskowitz recipe.
Oh, which should have been perfect.
I know, but somehow I didn't know what I was doing. But also, I think I used too much garlic, and it called for fresh garlic. And it was so intense and like immediately made me feel sick because it was just too much raw garlic. My tummy was still getting used to all that stuff. And it was so bad, but I own every one of her cookbooks, and I have since successfully made many of her recipes, but I really thought it was going to be foolproof by using hers. But anyway, so I made some mistakes along the way, but one time I made it, and I had tasted a little bit of it and I thought, okay, I think this needs something, but let me see what JP thinks. And so I just came out of the kitchen with the spoon with hummus on it. And I said, here,
Mhm.
try this. And he had no idea what I was doing in the kitchen. And by the look of it, so he takes a bite and he goes, oh my God, what is that? And I was like, oh no, it's so bad. And he was like, isn't this frosting? Because it looked like
Oh, no.
cake frosting. I somehow had made hummus that looked like cake frosting.
It must have been all nice and fluffy.
It was, but he was really expecting it to, I don't know, be like butterscotch or something flavored. But I'm gonna try this. Oh, there's so much inspiration going on right now. I'm gonna
Do
put
you
the
peel your
avocado.
chickpeas?
No.
I don't either, but I do know some people who are so obsessed, because there are people even more food obsessed than I am, who insist that if you really want velvety, fantastic hummus, you have to peel your chickpeas. And if you do this, Kimberly Winters listeners, I want to know about it.
That seems like, how do you
A
do that
lot of
quickly?
effort.
Right? Has someone figured out how to do it quickly? I will
And I
do it then.
applaud that effort, but I don't know that I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I don't know. But yes, please let us know if you are the one who is peeling their chickpeas. Ellen, thank you so much for this. I'm so glad that we were able to connect and to talk about your book. I hope everybody who's listening goes out and picks up a copy of Miami Vegan. What else are you doing? Where else can people find you?
Okay, you can find me at my Substack newsletter, Broccoli Rising. You can find me on my website, Soulful Vegan. And if you're going to happen to be in South Florida, I am teaching a vegan charcuterie class at Miami Beach Botanical Garden. And then I am going across the state to Fort Myers. I'm teaching a workshop with Miami vegan recipes.
Oh, very nice.
Yes, I'm very excited. I love to cook, but mostly I love to feed people. When you really want to convince people that vegan is good, give them a bite of something. It's like your ex-boyfriend. It's the aha thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Ah, so good. And I'm so jealous. I do know some people who listen that are down in Florida, so I hope they get a chance to come and join your workshop. That would be so fun.
Oh,
I want to
thank
hear all
you.
about it.
I'd love to meet them.
Yay. Ellen, thank you for your time tonight. I really appreciate it.
Oh, such fun. Thank you so much.
Welcome back. To connect with Ellen, visit her website, soulfulvegan.com. Follow her on Facebook at Soulful Vegan. I hope you found this episode helpful and inspiring. Please subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. And if you're loving it, please give Did You Bring the Hummus a 5-star rating and leave a review. It's an easy way to keep supporting the show. Be sure to share these episodes with your friends. If you're finding something good here, they will too. If you're a vegan or know a vegan who would be a great fit for the podcast, follow the Be a Guest link in the show notes. Fill out the quiz and I'll be in touch. Get on my mailing list and stay up to date on all things Did You Bring the Hummus? Get more info on how you can sign up for a meditation, one of my programs, or to support the podcast via the links in the show notes. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Did You Bring the Hummus? And visit my website, didyouBringTheHummus.com, for more information about me, updates on what I'm working on, new podcast episodes, and all things vegan. Finally, I would love to hear from you. What do you need help with? Is there a topic you want to hear covered on a future episode? DM me on Instagram or send me an email at info@didyouBringTheHummus.com. Thanks for listening.